Welcome to the special edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Phan. Recently, I got the chance to go to London, England for the 2012 Summer Olympics, and while I was there, I did take out a little bit of time to go exploring. Join me to find out more about what the London Eye is and why this landmark is a must-see if you ever get the chance to go to England. If there's one thing that is evident when you walk the streets of London, it is that it is a true melting pot. Black, white, Asian, Muslim, everyone here has a place in London. Interestingly, London is home to many Middle Eastern and Indian people, and it is not uncommon to see Muslim women in their traditional wear.
Yeah, there's a lot of Muslims here, so it's more comfortable growing up here than suppose in other places where there's fewer Muslims. But I think the non-Muslim community are also very supportive and they're understanding, and you don't meet a lot of prejudice over here. So yeah.
She does admit, though, that she is used to the looks.
It's sometimes it's uncomfortable, like when you go. Because I wear my hijab on the train. I've never met anyone wearing a face covered on the train, so sometimes you do get strange looks.
Although many wear these religious outfits, it is not required for all Muslims.
Not like you could say it's compulsory, but to some people it's different levels of accepting. I wouldn't say that everybody has to wear it, but it's something that I believe that I should wear. So yeah.
As an aspiring doctor, she knows she can't always dress this way.
I suppose at school, because I go to all girls school, but when it comes to, because I want to become a doctor, and obviously I want to become an anaesthetist, so obviously I'll have to wear like scrubs, and so in that kind of situation, I have to accept that I need to my arms will be showing, I won't be wearing a scarf. So yeah, it's not like so strict. Islam isn't. That's what I'm saying. Islam's really easygoing about it. So when you can do it, then you do it, but if you can't, then you don't try and force the situation. So yeah.
Hasif says for her, the pressure to conform has been there, but she knows herself well enough to not bother.
Sometimes there was times when I felt the pressure, but I think if you're more okay with it, and if you're more confident in the way, like being a Muslim, then other people are more accepting, whereas if you want to become more westernized, then people feel uncomfortable that you're not really accepting of yourself. So yeah, it's more like you have to accept yourself, and so that way people can accept you.
The London Eye may look like a giant Ferris wheel, but it is so much more than that. It is an observation wheel that allows visitors the chance to see London from a bird's eye view. It took 7 years and the skills of hundreds of people from 5 different countries to make it a reality. The London Eye is the world's tallest cantilevered observation wheel. On average, the London Eye receives more visitors per year than the Taj Mahal and the Great Pyramids of Giza. You can see up to 40 kilometers or roughly 25 miles in all directions. The 32 capsules on the London Eye are representative of the 32 London boroughs. Despite there only being 32 capsules, for superstitious reasons, they are numbered 1 through 33. For good luck, number 13 is left out. The London Eye can carry 800 people each rotation, which is comparable to 11 London Red double-decker buses. Interestingly, the London Eye had a predecessor, the Great Wheel, which was in working order from 1895 to 1906. Capsules travel at a leisurely pace of 26 centimeters per second, which is twice as fast as a tortoise sprinting. The entire ride costs roughly $20 and lasts close to 30 minutes. Included in the ride is also a 4D experience, and here is a sneak peek about how it all came about.
The London Eye decided to make a 4D film to enhance our visitors' experience when they come to the Eye.
We talked with Merlin Studios to develop a concept that we then sold into Nick Varney, the chief executive, and from that the project really sort of started.
We first tendered for the job in September. We were awarded the film in the October, and then we were told we had 5 months to deliver.
I am from Merlin Studios. My role is to provide an epic 4D experience.
It really is a sort of special job. So yeah, a lot of extra effort's been put into this on the back of the fact that it's such an iconic job. So.
It's a listed building, and the fact that we've got permission to knock an entire floor out and put a 4D cinema in, I think is quite spectacular.
We start off with the floor, move to the effects rails, the walls, all the speakers, and then hang the screens, projectors, and then it's we call it the turnkey. So you turn the key and the shows are running.
The guests are actually standing and participating in the environment to themselves as opposed to being seated in a theatre.
It was a neat, small, short story. Everybody loved it, and they've let us get on with it, and that's been a pleasure.
Julian Napier, the director, has taken a little slice of emotion and life and squished it into 3.5 minutes.
A story about a little girl who comes to London with her father for a day out. Her views initially are clouded.
It's not an easy place to see when you're a child, and I think you'll see through the story that it becomes quite an emotional story.
She then sees the wonder of the London Eye and takes on the role of a seagull.
4D takes it that one dimension further.
We're going to rumble the floor.
Wind effects,
Mist,
Snow.
smoke, bubbles,
Kids love the bubbles.
rain falling on them.
anything that can actually physically be squirted, pushed, prodded into the theatre.
The smell of fireworks.
You never normally see a 4D movie.
It's environmental effects which helps you participate within the film that you're watching.
Something that audiences can't get at home, they can't get in the cinema, they can only get in special venues.
An action-packed 3.5 minutes.
The combination of the 3D and the 4D effects and the great music, what we want is for the hairs to stand up on the back of the neck.
I've seen it with a whole bunch of different people, and it reduces grown women and grown men to tears.
To say that I've had a lump in my throat a couple of times is absolutely true.
I think it actually has passed my expectations.
If people walk out of the theatre space with a smile on their faces, then we've done our job.
It was really fun, and everything seemed so real, especially when the fireworks came out.
It was like
The bit where we got soaked.
exciting, yeah.
Who was it who liked the dragon sneezing on you?
Me.
Oh, that was you as well?
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Really good.
The effects were incredible.
The effects were great. I screamed when the water came out at you and snow was coming down. It was like being in all 4 seasons.
I saw people in the audience, they were like stretching out their hands. They're like...
It was really interesting to see all the different camera angles of the sites and to be able to see them from like being in a helicopter.
Always wanted to see London from the point of view of a seagull.
It was wonderful.
You could feel this stuff under your feet. You could feel it rumbling.
Yeah, you could just tell that it was
really good. It was like lifelike. It was exactly like real life.
I was completely unready for that. It was as if you were standing right there. I was unprepared for that experience.
It was wonderful. All 4 days the best. Well, don't you think so? Feeling the wind and feeling the fireworks and all, it was great. It was great. We had a wonderful time.
Coming up after the break, we're going to take you to Bath. Not a bath, but to it. You definitely don't want to miss it. Stay with us. Welcome back to the special edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Phan. Before the break, you got a chance to learn more about the people of London and also what the London Eye is all about. In this segment, we'll take you to Bath, England, and also to a very special place known as Stonehenge. The name might sound a bit funny, but Bath, England is one of the most beautiful historic towns you'll find in England. It is known for the Roman baths that are found there. The Roman baths themselves are below the modern street level. There are 4 main features: the sacred spring, the Roman temple, the Roman bathhouse, and the museum holding finds from Roman baths. The baths are a major tourist attraction and, together with the Grand Pump Room, receive more than 1 million visitors a year. Visitors can see the baths and museum, but they cannot enter the water since they run through historic lead pipes. But according to our tour guide, this is just a myth to keep tourists from muddying the waters. The water, which bubbles up from the ground at Bath, fell as rain on the nearby Mendip Hills. It percolates down through limestone aquifers to a depth of between 9,000 and 14,000 feet, where geothermal energy raises the water temperature to between 147 degrees Fahrenheit and 204 degrees Fahrenheit. Under pressure, the heated water rises to the surface along fissures and faults in the limestone. The fundamental part of the Roman baths is the sacred spring. Hot water at a temperature of 460 degrees Celsius rises here at the rate of 240,000 gallons every day and has been doing so for thousands of years. To the ancients, this remarkable phenomenon could only be the work of gods. Many back then believed these springs had healing properties. The first shrine at the springs in Bath was built by the Celts and was dedicated to the goddess Sulis. After the Roman invasion, Sulis was identified with the Roman goddess Minerva, but the name Sulis continued to be used. During the Roman occupation of Britain, increasingly grand temples and bathing complexes were built. The Bath complex in Bath was found in 75 AD. The healing powers of the goddess and the mineral-rich water from the springs attracted visitors from across the Roman Empire. Just a little ways from the pump room is the beautiful Pulteney Bridge. It is one of only 4 in the world lined by shops on both sides. It was built for William Pulteney, whose wife had inherited rural Bathwick across the river from Bath. Pulteney could see the potential for development, but first, a ferry had to be replaced by a bridge. His architect, Robert Adam, favored a Palladian design. Today, the bridge has suffered so many changes that its original architect, Robert Adam, would only recognize the South River front, yet it remains an architectural symbol of Bath. Up next, Stonehenge. I grew up hearing about Stonehenge and couldn't fathom visiting England without visiting the stones. The history and mystery behind them was too great to miss.
Stonehenge. For thousands of years, one of the world's great archaeological enigmas. Now, one man has come up with radical new thinking that may explain why and by whom this fabulous monument was built. Anthropologist Lionel Sims began by trying to understand what changes were going on in prehistoric society as Europe emerged from the last ice age, and how man's beliefs were affected. Studies of present-day societies, combined with fresh archaeological evidence from across Northern Europe, have led Sims to a startling theory that Stonehenge was built not simply to celebrate the sun, but to worship a much older force, the moon. In rediscovering Stonehenge's purpose, Sims comes to the conclusion that this ancient monument represents a major milestone on the road to the modern world. Sunrise at Stonehenge on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Great crowds gather at this mystical site to celebrate the event. It's now the 21st century, and following what is thought to be an ancient tradition has become a global phenomenon.
Well, this place is completely mysterious. We don't know if our ancestors came here for a dance.
I just feel a really good vibe whenever I come here.
People have been coming here in this time of the year, centuries and centuries.
So what they completely did here to us is almost a mystery.
The unraveling of that mystery begins with some fundamental questions, not least of which is, what did the people who built Stonehenge believe in? A structure of this scale and antiquity almost certainly had a major spiritual significance to those that built it. Construction began on the Stonehenge site over 5,000 years ago. It continued on and off for 1,500 years in 3 distinct phases, each of which involved dismantling the previous structure. Some of the huge stones were transported hundreds of miles from the Preseli Mountains in Wales to the monument site on Salisbury Plain in southwest England. But the mechanics of Stonehenge don't help to explain what drove a community to expend so much time and energy in building such a structure. Whatever its purpose, Druid temple, Neolithic planetarium, temple to human sacrifice, whoever built it meant business.
From the moment it was conceived, Stonehenge had a meaning to the people who built it.
And that meaning would have been tied to the prevailing belief system, commonly held to have been based on the worship of the sun. Conventional archaeology generally concludes that the key purpose to Stonehenge is solar. Its function is seen as part temple to the sun, part solar calendar. The thousands who still gather to witness midsummer sunrise are carrying on a tradition that many believe dates back to the origins of Stonehenge. But does it? In the popular imagination, the connection between Stonehenge and sun worship has its roots in the pre-Christian Druid movement. So did the Druids build Stonehenge as a spectacular temple to the sun? It seems highly unlikely. The first record of the Druids is no earlier than the 3rd century BC, over 1,000 years after Stonehenge was at its zenith. Julius Caesar is the principal source of information about the Druids, whom he came across in Gaul. The Roman classics describe how their sacred sites were clearings in forests, not massive man-made monuments. It's clear that if the Druids ever had anything to do with Stonehenge, it was after finding it in its current abandoned state.
This is a place of power. Any place that is used for a long time for a spiritual purpose or for any other common purpose builds up its own power. And this is really the spiritual centre of England.
Being there, it is much smaller than you probably imagined in your head, but its beauty and power is unmistakable. In its day, the construction of Stonehenge was an impressive engineering feat requiring commitment, time, and vast amounts of manual labor. In its first phase, Stonehenge was a large earthwork, a bank and ditch arrangement called a henge, constructed approximately 5,000 years ago. It is believed that the ditch was dug with tools made from the antlers of red deer and possibly wood. The underlying chalk was loosened with picks and shoveled with the shoulder blades of cattle. It was then loaded into baskets and then carried away. Modern experiments have shown that these tools were more than equal to the great task of earth digging and moving. About 2000 BC, the first stone circle, which is now the inner circle, comprised of small blue stones, was set up but abandoned before completion. The stones used in that first circle are believed to be from the Presqu'île Mountains, located roughly 240 miles away at the southwestern tip of Wales. The blue stones weigh up to 4 tons each, and about 80 stones were used in all. Given the distance they had to travel, this presented quite a transportation problem. The giant sarsen stones, which form the outer circle, weigh as much as 50 tons each. To transport them from the Marlborough Downs, roughly 20 miles to the north, is a problem of even greater magnitude than that of moving the blue stones. Modern work studies estimate that at least 600 men would have been needed just to get each stone past this obstacle. Situated in a vast plain surrounded by hundreds of round barrows, or burial mounds, the Stonehenge site is truly impressive, and all the more so the closer you get. Some people see it as a place steeped in magic and mystery, while some see it as a place where their imaginations can run wild, and others hold it to be a sacred place. But whatever viewpoint is brought to it, and whatever the original purpose was, it should be treated as the ancients treated it, as a place of honor. Every time I get to see a new place, meet new people, or see different things, I always feel like the luckiest person in the world, and I know that I really am. Hopefully one day you get to see the Stonehenge yourself up close and find out why it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. Until next time, we hope you learn more, live more, and always stay focused. Thanks for watching.